and I'm going to leave some notes for Lissa. Hi, Lissa. It's Jana, and I am here with Julisa Medina, and I'm just going to get her bio read in, and we're going to get our recording started. So 3, 2, 1. Hi, and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm so excited. I'm here with Julisa Medina. Julisa Medina is a 44-year-old woman who learned to love herself right before she took the stage for her first bikini competition in 2016. During her profound mental and physical training, she had a powerful shift which resulted in raising her level of awareness of herself. She became more aware of her inner strength within inside her. The newfound strength prompted her to desire more, dream of the impossible, which is possible, with faith and hope, and she was being led on the right path. During the past several years, she has been on an incredible journey of growth and wanting to inspire others through Facebook Lives called Mindset Minutes, which I caught one today, and it was phenomenal. This had been a miraculous change for her because she replaced her fear with faith. Julisa is hoping that her story can be shared around the world through social media, YouTube, and becoming a motivational speaker. Oh my gosh, she is also publishing her first children's book. She is amazing, amazing, incredible, and she's very inspiring to me. So I'm so glad that you're here today, Julisa.
Thank you so much for having me. I am very truly blessed and grateful to be here because you are inspiring. You are an amazing woman. And I'm so glad that the universe, so God manifested us to me and to be here right now. It's truly a blessing. Thank you.
Well, I am going to receive that because coming from you, that just makes me want to walk on air. So thank you. What we do here is we share our stories of hope. And I know you have a really powerful story. So do you want to share that with us today?
I would love to. So you want me to start when I first started loving me?
Yes, I do want you to start when you first realize you should be loving you.
So I am a 44-year-old woman who learned to love myself in 2016, right before I took the stage for my first fitness competition. Prior to that, I had dealt with self-doubt, depression, eating disorder, didn't feel worthy. I attempted suicide a couple times, and recently it still kind of chokes me up, saying where things had happened to me in the past. For instance, when I was a teenager, I was molested. And when in my early 20s, I think I was 21, I went on a date and I was date raped. So that spiral effect of not feeling worthy, even when I was young, having that eating disorder and what had transpired, caused me to act out in ways that was not healthy. But when you've been molested or raped or you're dealing with emotional stuff, you act out in ways that is not normal. And so I drank a lot and I did some drugs, but I continued to move forward. I got my certificate in exercise science and nutrition and massage therapy. And I did massage therapy because someone told me I couldn't massage. So when someone tells me I can't do something, I'm like, all right, let me go study this. I'm going to do it. But in regards to that, learning to fast forward, I met someone in 2015 who came into my life for a reason. He was an entrepreneur. He was into personal development, and he left me a year after. And this is someone I dated, and I had thought about attempting suicide at that time again. I was 40 years old, and learning to be by myself, learning to appreciate the woman that I was, and finding myself in training for my first competition, it was like a paradigm shift. I found this newfound love for me. I looked in the mirror and said, I love me. I love myself. And I started hoping. I started going on this amazing journey, continued growing, and aligning myself with so many inspirational spiritual people who were studying mindset training, who were entrepreneurs, people who were making an impact on this world. I'm like, you know what? This is something I want to do. Why can't I do this? I grew up not feeling worthy and not valuing myself and having that self-doubt. But then being around these people, I found hope. I found Julisa. I found this woman that is a super warrior who has this inner strength within inside and could do and achieve anything that I wanted to. But I also had to believe in me and believe in my journey. And it doesn't take just overnight this happening. It takes time. It takes time to truly believe in yourself. And it takes the power of prayer, aligning yourself with the universe, with God or the universe, and believing in your journey, and hope. Hope is key, because, and faith, having faith in yourself when you didn't have faith for almost from my teenage years to my 40, until I turned 40, I didn't really have faith in me. So in saying that, for anybody that's listening, if you're going through stuff emotionally, if you're going through a breakup, an abusive relationship, you're going through something traumatic that has happened to you, there's always hope. You're going to have struggles throughout your life. You're going to struggle, you're going to fall down, but it's about how you choose to stay down, and it's about getting back up and moving forward. And if you fall again, you get back up again. Nothing in life is predicted, but you have the choice to choose and to create your own life. I had the choice to create my own life, and everyone out there has the choice as well. I'm blessed that I learned to love me. I'm blessed that I've aligned myself with so many amazing people. And I'm also blessed that I get to, not need to, I get to do these Facebook Lives, Call Mindset Minutes, in order to inspire others, because I honestly never thought I would be on a podcast doing something like this. Never thought I would be doing Facebook Lives for a year now in order to inspire others, to never give up on their dreams, to never give up on themselves, because we all go through struggles in our life. We're going to go through struggles, and it's how we can deal with those struggles and say, you know what? I'm stronger. I'm a warrior, and I'm a survivor, and nothing and no one's going to keep me down anymore. So I wanted to share this story in order to provide hope for others. It doesn't have to, for anyone in their 20s, 30s, I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's never too late for you to take a leap of faith, to take a chance in life, and to create your own life. We are the creators of our failures and our successes. And I look back at my life and what has happened to me. It was just an obstacle. It was a struggle. It was a stepping stone. As Esther Hicks says, you move with the water. If there's a rock in the water, you still move through it. It's about going with the flow in life and not allowing obstacles to put a wall up to keep you from moving forward. There's always hope. There's always love. There's always peace. There's always happiness. But everything starts from within. Find that love one from within, and that love will come out.
Wow. I love your story. And I want, if you take away nothing today, I want you to take away that you have everything you need within yourself. She didn't need the person she was in a relationship to validate her. She learned that when she got in her own space. You do not need someone to tell you you're beautiful, you're smart, you're talented. You need to be doing that for yourself every single day. Like, treat yourself like the best person you're ever going to come in contact with. And tell yourself in the morning, you got this, girl. It's going to be a crazy day, but we got this. And I just wanted to say also to you is that I hear this recently a lot, because COVID has brought out the best and the worst in our relationships, right? Because we're trapped and we feel trapped. And I've had so many people coming to me saying, my husband left me, my boyfriend left me, they dumped me. Let me just tell you, start changing that mindset right now to they released you. Thank you very much. If they don't want to be in the relationship and they are going, then you need to say thank you for releasing me, because what I'm going to tell you is something beautiful is waiting for you. And I know you're not going to see that right now. You just see the pain, the wasted relationship, that your best friend is walking out the door. At least you thought it was your best friend, but they released you to allow that is really yours to come into your life. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And in regards to what you said about releasing, that relationship came into my life for a reason and left me for a reason. And I'm sure you know this analogy. It's like a butterfly coming out of the caterpillar coming out of the cocoon and blossoming in order to fly. That's how I felt. I felt he needed to leave me for a reason in order for me to fly and spread my wings and fly to become the person I am today. And to have 7 competitions, fitness competitions in my 40s, and to write a book that I never thought was possible. But everything is possible in life. And I love how you said release me, because you know what? He released me. He released me to become Julisa.
I love that. And the truth of the matter is, when I'm talking to these people and they've gone through a breakup, I ask them, please don't start dating for 6 months to a year. All you're going to do is show yourself love. And the minute, otherwise, we track the same sort of wrong person to us because we haven't fixed what's wrong with us. And it's not that anything's wrong with you, but maybe you just don't know what it is that you want in a person yet. And so until we figure what that is for us, then take that 6 months. Don't jump into another relationship. I promise you'll bring the exact same person into your life. Different face, same everything else.
I love that you say that, because I've been single for several years now, and it's a choice. I choose to be single because I used to go from relationship to relationship, but then I was unhappy in those relationships. But then I was scared to make that change and scared to shift. And now I've been learning to grow and to find the person that I am, and I still continue to be. Being by yourself doesn't mean you have to be by yourself. You're finding yourself. You're loving yourself. You're finding peace within you before. And I would suggest to people right now, if they desire a relationship, write out what you really, really, truly, after the 6 months, write out what you truly, truly want from a person. Write it out as if he's already here in present tense. And that's what I did. I recorded it and I listened to it in the morning. And I know he's out there, and he's out there in spirit. And the universal God is going to manifest us when the timing is right. But until then, I love being single.
By the way, you should love being single as much as you love being in a relationship if you're very confident with who you are. But it's so funny we're talking about relationships, because today I had to fill in a post, and I grabbed a picture of my husband and I in Zambia in front of Victoria Falls. But I talked about, I recently got into a motivational group by a very big leader that I admire and respect. But on the 3rd day, our challenge was relationships. And our homework was to go into a group and say live in a group, there was like 30,000 people in there, what we would change about ourselves to make our relationship better. And I'm like, absolutely flipping nothing. I will not change anything about myself to make my relationship better. That doesn't mean I'm not constantly changing things about myself, but that's to make me better. And I am not, if I've done that, by the way, and I know all of us as women and men have done this. If I could only be this, if I could start being that, if I could do this better or be more of, this for them. And it's not, that it's just not going to ever happen, because at the end of the day, you are no longer yourself. You're unhappy. They're unhappy. And I had to quit going to this group because I was so mad that they wanted us to say what we would change about ourselves. And I'm like, I went live and said nothing. I would change absolutely nothing about myself to make someone else happy, only for me. But by the way, that took me many years to figure that out. Here I am going to be 60, and it took me a lot of decades to figure that out. I want you to figure it out now, because the sooner you figure it out, the happier you're going to be with yourself. Because would you not agree with me, Julisa, that we aren't born like this? Our mom, we could come in and have her makeup all over our face, a mascara smudged at 8 years old. And she'd be like, were you my makeup? Yes. Well, you look ridiculous. Thank you. Right? They don't know how to receive something negative. And we, as we grow up, all those limiting beliefs about ourselves start coming into play, but we were not born with them for sure. We were just talking like if we were born with limiting beliefs, every time we fell when we were toddlers learning to walk, eventually we'd be like, this is just too hard. I can't do this. This is not for me. But none of us would be walking right now. And I think we've all mastered it pretty well because we just kept getting back up because we didn't have a limiting belief that it wasn't possible. We saw other people doing it. We wanted to move. So we got up and did it.
Everything is possible. And it's funny how you mentioned that because we're all born a blank slate. And we are being programmed when we're young by our parents, and then we get older by our friends, the school system, and so much more. And our environment is so much stronger than our hereditary of who we surround ourselves with. And limited beliefs, imagine if we continue to, like you and I, have these limited beliefs, we wouldn't be right here right now. We wouldn't be right here right now and be the woman that we envision ourselves being, because I had so many limited beliefs. Now, honestly, what you said about changing yourself, I wouldn't change anything about myself. Back then, when I didn't love myself and I had all those limited beliefs and self-doubt, I would change to conform to the person that I was with.
Yeah, that's true. And then we're no longer ourselves. We don't even recognize who we are. We're not happy because we're doing something that's against everything that we feel is right for us. So it's okay to find your voice as men and women. It's okay to say we're not a fit. I'm not rejecting you. We've tried it out, and I'm releasing you to find that person who is a fit for you. Okay, get released.
Yes, release you.
You know,
I love that word.
So many people keep fighting to keep a bad relationship, and I get it if you're married and you're invested and you have kids, you don't just quit, right? You have to try to remember what was it that we loved about it. Have we both changed so much that we don't recognize the relationship anymore because we're not who we are? And so I get fighting for something like that. But when you're in new relationships and you find you're changing, that's crazy. And I want to talk to you about everything you went through growing up as a woman and all these things that could have made you a victim, have a victim mentality, but it didn't. You came out as not only a survivor, but someone who wants to share that and empower other women. I also had a daughter that was in a really abusive relationship. Her very first relationship, she was very young, and she was living with someone who was physically abusive to her, separated her from all of her family. And when we finally helped her get out of this situation, which took a very long time, and as a mother, I remember the day that we went over to confront him. And my husband's 6'5", right? He's a big man. And he's threatening, like he can be threatening. And we went over to confront him and he cried. Julisa, he cried. He cried, I'm so sorry. I hit her once. It'll never happen again. And of course, what are you going to do? Just say, you better make sure it doesn't happen again, right? As we were walking out of their apartment downstairs, we could hear him go off on her, screaming, calling her filthy names, calling us filthy names. And my husband started back up the stairs. And it was the hardest thing in the world for me, but I had to grab his arm and say, get in the car. We have to walk away. I had to leave my child in what I knew was an abusive situation, that she was going to get hurt, because I could see in her eyes she wasn't ready to leave. She wasn't ready to do what she had to do. And if my husband went back up, he would be the one in jail and crying. I remember sobbing, getting into the car saying, just drive, just drive. When she needs us, she'll call. And that day came that she needed us. And of course we were there. But when I asked her, how did that happen? She's bullheaded like me. No, I could not tell that child what to do. How did somebody do that? And she said, Mom, it happened so little, right? First it was, your friend causes trouble between us. And if she weren't in the picture, we'd have a better relationship. Then it was her aunts, which are her age. When your aunts are around here, we always fight. And pretty soon he isolated her. And then she couldn't go to the store without, I'll be back in 10 minutes. And he timed her, and her world just got smaller and smaller because she kept accepting these little changes until there was nothing left. There was no life. It was horrible. And it doesn't happen overnight when you're in a relationship. When you make that first change that you feel in your gut isn't right, oh my gosh, you're opening the door for disaster. I'm promising you that.
It sounds like a relationship that I was in when I was 24. I got engaged to somebody. I moved back from New York. I lived in Brooklyn, New York, trying to get into the acting world. And when I moved back, I met the singer. And it was great in the beginning. But then he tried to tell me that at gigs, I shouldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I should bring someone with me. He started telling me what I can and cannot do. I found out he was cheating on me. We got in a fight one time. He hit me. The cops came. And because I had so low self-esteem of myself and didn't love myself, I stayed. I kept going back. It was like I was glutton for punishment, but it was not glutton for punishment. It was because I didn't know any better. I didn't feel like I felt like this was the norm when it's not the norm, especially for a lot of women out there who are struggling and in relationships like this. You have the choice to leave. Find that inner strength. And I wish I had like a mentor or someone to guide me back then to help me to believe in me, because I wouldn't listen to my parents. They were my parents. And they would tell me not to go back, but I still went back. And looking back at that, he had a lot of mental issues, just like your daughter that dated that guy. He probably had a lot of issues that stem from his childhood. And that's why he acted out in that manner. But just because someone is acting on that manner doesn't mean we as women or men have to stay in a relationship where it's not fueling us and giving us hope and raising our vibration to a higher level. We all have a choice, and find someone who can help you if you can't do it yourself.
I'm wondering how many of us women can raise our hand and say we have fix-it syndrome, because how many times you go back into a relationship that if I just love them enough, if I just stand by them, I can fix this damage. And you can fix nobody but yourself. Nobody.
Yeah, you're right. And then the relationship after that, I tried to fix that person. But it was me that needed to be fixed. It was me finding that inner strength inside me. And I'm trying to fix someone else, but I need to fix me. And that's why it's great to be by yourself. Like you mentioned, when you get out of this relationship, wait at least 6 months. Find the true person that you are meant to be, and find the person that you appreciate and love, because once you put that energy out there, you are going to attract that positive person, that person that you desire into your life.
100%. Julisa, one of the things I love about you so much is your mindset minutes. It's one of my favorite things. Like I said, I just caught yours today and it was amazing. And because I believe that when you hear from someone like Julisa and they're constantly feeding you what your body's starving for, positive and motivation, and your brain just starts hearing that and absorbing it, and subconsciously you are creating change, not even realizing it. Share with us like one of your favorite mindset minutes.
My favorite, wow. I started doing this a little over a year ago, but I had fear doing it. I wasn't that great, but I continuously did it in order to become better. So I never gave up. And the most memorable one, I love the ones now that I've been doing the past several months, because you can see my confidence. You can feel my energy. I'm more confident now. I'm a jokester and I love to laugh. So sometimes I do stuff that are silly and funny now. But the one that really resonates is the one when I think it was back in January, that I shared me being molested and raped. Because it felt like I was shedding layers off of me. I was shedding layers of the past and sharing it with my audience in order to help them, anyone who has been molested or raped, that you have a choice to rise up and not live in that bubble or live in that fear anymore. Because I basically repressed it And I know that sharing it, other people had come forward and told me. Plus, I wanted to share it for a relative of mine who, very young, she was raped and didn't tell anybody about it. And she's been acting out, and she hasn't really gotten through it. Just like myself, I really didn't get through it. I really didn't. I acted out for so many years. And sharing that and shedding those layers and knowing that I can help somebody, even if it's just one person, to say, you know what? It's not my fault. It's not my fault why I was raped. It's not my fault why I was beaten. It's not my fault that I was molested. Because we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for things that have happened to us. But it's not our fault. And it's about coming forward and realizing this and looking in the mirror and say, I am strong. I'm a warrior and I'm a survivor. And it is not my fault. I can move forward and help other people.
Wow, that was really powerful. This is why you guys got to go check out her Mindset Minutes, because they're incredible. And if we leave you with nothing, take this from it. If you're in a situation now that's scary, that's harmful, you do not have to be alone. You can reach out. And even if you're not ready to talk, there is a sisterhood of women out there who've got your back. Like, they are there for you and they understand. They've been through the phases you're going through now, and they understand what's on the other side and how painful sometimes that journey is. But even if you're not ready to leave, you don't have to be alone in this, right? Reach out. And I'm going to find links to put into Julisa's on top of her links to connect with her. But I'm going to find some links where if you need anything, you can just go there and say, I'm here, right? I'm here. I want someone to see me. I want someone to hear me. And I don't want to be alone, because it's scary to be alone. And I want you to know there's hope for you out in the world.
Thank you so much. There is hope. And I hope that me telling my story and my journey will assist and help others to either come forward or to learn to forgive themselves, because it's not their fault. And I have ideas of other children's books, because my book is scheduled to be released in February. I have ideas of other children's books that are going to be kind of like a warrior status, overcoming certain things and learning to be strong and so much more. That's all I'm going to give of little tidbits, but it's about personal development. It's about mindset. I'm excited. I'm excited about the journey, because there's so much potential out there for all of us. And find the person that you truly are meant to be, and align yourself with a mentor or a coach or someone who can get you there, because sometimes we can't do it on our own.
Well, we're definitely going to ask you back in February so we can talk about your book, because I think being able to give your children at a young age, because by the way, our limiting beliefs start at a very young age, and they become very impressionable because you see them. Have you ever been out and you went to this place where these cookies were so huge, you remember how delicious they were and they were gigantic, and then you go back as an adult and you get that cookie, you're like, what? Like, what is this? Like, I remember them being, because we remember things so differently, so much bigger as children, and we carry that big memory into adulthood instead of looking at what it really is now. And so this is a great thing for you to be writing for young women growing up and having that superhero power to be able to find their voice and speak up for themselves and understand that they are perfect little beings and they have so much power. So I love that you're doing that. It sounds beautiful.
Yes.
I would love to have you back in February.
On.
Thank you. Julisa, how can people connect with you? It'll be in the show notes, but let's tell them where they can find you.
Well, they can find me on Facebook at Julisa Medina, Julisa Medina, Medina, Mindset Minute. And they can find me on Instagram at Julisa Medina _official, in addition to LinkedIn under Julisa Medina. And then eventually I'm going to have a website with my book for pre-orders. And then you never know, I may have other websites for other stuff and branding myself in the future.
You know, first of all, congratulations on your book. And second of all, I am just so honored to have you on the show. I love that you are empowering women with your story and giving them the kind of feedback that they may need to make that step in their life to move in, a different direction. So thank you so much, Julisa.
You are so very welcome. Thank you for having me. And if anybody out there is dealing with certain things that I have been through, you're more than welcome to reach out to me.
I would totally do that. I definitely would go to her Mindset Minutes. I loved it. It was so amazing. So go and check out that. Thank you, Julisa.
Thank you again, sweetie. I look forward to talking to you again.